Hi everyone, welcome to the 2020-2021 school year. My name is Ms. King. I am the instrumental music teacher here at OHS. I teach all of the orchestra classes, band, and I'm in charge of percussion and guard as well, although those are run through our lovely caption heads who head up those programs. Today I'm going to share with you how you can get a hold of me, how our Google Classroom works, and where to find grading and rubric information for my class. So, to start with, your student should have a homepage of classes on their Google Classroom that lists all the classes they're in. For this demonstration, I'm going to use concert band as the model class, but all of my classes are set up in an identical manner. So you can click on any of them and you will see the exact same thing. So when you go and click on one of the classes, you will see a stream. This page isn't terribly helpful for tracking your students' progress. It just tells you what the latest assignment I've assigned is. But if you go over here to where it says classwork, you will see all the information you need for you and your student to communicate with me and get good grades in this class. So to start with, at the top of the page, we have contact and availability. Class times are listed here in case you need to know them. Underneath is the one that will be more important for you. This is the methods of communication for this class. It includes my email. It also includes the Zoom meeting link, which we use to hold class, and the code to get into that room. There are two other codes on here as well. One of them is our Remind class code. We do use the app Remind here in the music department. It's a free app. You can download it, and once you download it, you can join a class to get direct reminders to your phone from me so that you don't have to sort through your emails to find things. So if you take this code and you plug it in on Remind, that will get you a more direct line of communication with me, which can be helpful. And then for your students, they should all be enrolled in my Smart Music class. Each class has their own. This is where digital music assignments will be recorded and posted. So all of your students should already have this, but this is the code to join the Smart Music class. If we go down, you'll see that my office hours are listed right below this. Students and parents both are welcome to office hours if you would like to meet to discuss your student's grade or if your student is needing extra help. Many of them have been very good about advocating for themselves and coming to me when they need extra support on an assignment, but this resource is also here for you at all times as well. If your student needs support with other classes outside of my own, there's also virtual online tutoring offered through the district that I have attached a link to here. So if your student is struggling in any of their core subjects and they need additional assistance, you can follow that link to our district site and they will hook you up with some tutors, which is awesome. Continuing on, these are also important for success in our classroom this year. Given that this digital world is all new to all of us, my grading policies are very lenient this year. But as I've told the students, don't let that work pile up on you because you'll still have to do it before the end of the semester. And I think we've all had that experience once in our life where we leave something too long and then have to panic to get it done. So I encourage them not to do that. But my late work policy officially is that we will be accepting late work without any penalties all the way up to the end of each grade marking period. So we're in the middle of semester 1 right now. This grading period will go all the way to the end of semester 1. So all the way up until winter break, your student can go back and resubmit or submit for a first time any assignment they may have missed or are not happy with, and they can get regraded on that without any penalties until that deadline. The redo and retake policies are exactly the same. The music department will allow retake of tests and assignments within the semester that they are assigned. So your students do have all the way up until winter break to get their work in and completed in a way that makes them happy and satisfied with their grade. And I'm happy to help them with that if they need extra assistance. Our class syllabus outlines all of this, but I will go over this together with you so that you are clear on it. If you go down to class syllabus, you can click on this PDF. It'll pull up. So in this class, students will be working on both large ensemble, so our full band pieces or our full orchestra pieces, that you've probably seen at concerts before. And they will also be working on some small group performance practice. This is what we call chamber music, and it's usually groups of 1 to 5 students working together on a piece designed for a smaller group. This really encourages them to take a little bit more personal accountability and gives them freedom to explore music that might be more to their particular interest. So that's something we have introduced this year that I'm very excited about. The grading in this class is pretty straightforward. Students are graded on the following 4 categories. There's skills proficiencies, which are playing checks. Those are any playing assignments that I give them through Smart Music or otherwise. Written testing, I will occasionally give a couple written tests. I know the kids hate me for it, but it is really useful to assess some of the more theoretical knowledge that we cover in this class, like the structures of music, such as scales, the different rhythms that you need to play music, etc. We do have students who are stronger visually than they are orally, and that is fine. So this written testing is an example of a way that they can show their strength in a more comfortable medium for them. So we will do some written testing. And then classwork is just what we're working on in class. Are they engaged? Are they contributing? Are they doing their work in class? And then finally, behavior, which is really participation. So if they're behaving appropriately, if they're participating, they're there in class, and they're setting a good example, that's basically a free 5%. However, I do have some students still who are either not turning cameras on or not responding to me via chat or verbally when we do things in class that I ask them to participate in. If your student is missing points in that behavior category, that could be the source of it. I am very flexible on that. I have several students who don't have webcams at work or have shoddy internet, and they've let me know these things, and I account for that in the grading. But several of our students who are having issues with this have not contacted me to let me know that there's any extra need that needs to be met there. So if you are looking through the Aries grade book and you notice that the behavior score is not as high as you and your student would like it to be, feel free to contact me, and I would be happy to tell you what your student can do and what arrangements can be made to help them be more successful there. As far as behavior goes, this is all very straightforward, I feel, but it's the normal school rules. They all apply in the classroom. I expect students to show courtesy at all times. This applies to staff members, student leadership, parents, fellow bandmates, as well as the material things that they have, which belongs to their program, the equipment, the uniforms, the facilities on campus. I expect our students to represent not just themselves, but our ensembles, our director and staff, the school, and even our Oceanside community as a whole sometimes. So I have a very high standard for student behavior, and I do take it very seriously. So please have discussions with your students about what that means and how they can be a successful example of a well-behaved student in class if you feel that's necessary. If you need help defining that, again, I'm always happy to help. Just so it is said, it should be noted that our program is a zero tolerance program. There are absolutely no drugs, alcohol, smoking, this includes vaping, stealing or vandalism. Any of these are grounds for immediate removal from the program, and I will do this. Only had to do it once ever, and it was not a fun time. I don't expect to have to do it again, but just so it's out there and it's been said, I have no tolerance for any of those activities on campus in our program, so please encourage your students to steer clear of those. And finally, students are expected to be good examples of citizenship and sportsmanship. We do compete in competitions outside of our school and outside of our county. We go to auditions, we have leadership applications, we go to festivals, and I expect our students to treat any other student competing against them, personally or otherwise, with respect. So derogatory remarks of any kind about another individual or another group are not acceptable in my class. Again, I take this very seriously. This is something that I have removed students for before. I hope that I never have to do it again, but respect is something that's really, really important in our classroom. So I hope you will join me in supporting a positive and safe learning environment for all of our students. Instruments. Students can use their own instruments, obviously. If they need, they can also rent an instrument from the school. Renting really just means a loan. It doesn't cost you anything. But if you need an instrument that you do not have, you are welcome to get one from our store of instruments. And then we already went over the late work and retakes. I will accept late work and retakes all the way up to the end of the semester. So if you have questions about this, please feel free to contact me. I'm always open to suggestions, and I would love to hear your thoughts if you have any on this. Moving on down the list, the last thing that we want to talk about here as far as grading and expectations is our netiquette. And this was published in its school-wide policy. Your students should already be familiar with it from other classes, but for your benefit, the school netiquette agreement is listed out here for your benefit. Some of the most important ones are just not to record or take video without permission. We do have a social media policy designed to protect the privacy of students, so we don't want that happening without people's permission. Trying not to eat or do other activities that are distracting during class, obviously, and using the technological resources at hand appropriately. So keeping the chat PG and asking classmates questions and engaging with them is all great, and I encourage students to do that at appropriate times during the class. I'll give you a full moment to read this in case you haven't. Okay, and then we will move on to what your students' weekly schedule kind of looks like. So if you scroll down in my Google Classroom, you'll see that there's some tutorials. This covers some basics that are necessary for the class, such as how to enroll in smart music, how to play scales, how to read rhythms, anything else they might need to complete their classwork. It's here in tutorials in video form. They're welcome to use that at any time. Below that, I have the class divided by weeks. So I will go all the way back to week 1, for example. So each week, the students have 2 different things that are due. You'll see this is the same through all the weeks. They will have a homework and they will have an assignment. The homework is obviously homework. The assignment is what they're working on in class for classwork during the week. So ideally, both are turned in on time each week. To see what the students are doing each week, you can click on this button that says Agenda. Each week has its own agenda. It will include any links the students need to complete their work. And it will tell you what the focus for the week is. This week, we're focusing on our small ensemble work, so you'll see that most of our class time has been devoted to that. For classwork, a large portion of it is listening to and critiquing music. So one of the other things that we do that you will see pop up frequently in the Aries gradebook is this song of the day. Every day when the students come in, I am playing a song, mostly songs of their choosing that they helped create via this Google Slide presentation. And students are asked to listen to and consider the musical factors that went into making the song and do a little bit of research on the musicians that they're listening to. They respond to this in the corresponding Google form that is also attached to that tab in the Google Classroom right here. And then they submit it when they are done. This is most of their classwork grade at the moment as far as written work goes. So it's really, really important. It's super easy and it's supposed to be fun. So if your student's missing one of those, that's what I'm talking about. And you can go and find them by matching up the number here to the number that's listed in the gradebook. By now, you should all have access to the parent portal on the gradebook. If you don't, please feel free to contact me or your student's counselor. We'll be happy to walk you through that process. Grades, I update once. I try to update once a week. Sometimes it ends up being once every 2 weeks, depending on how many events we have going on. But by the end of each grading period, which is 6 weeks usually, everything will be updated and input in its final form, unless I receive late work past that date. So check in with the Aries. It should be very easy to match the Aries assignments to the classroom assignments. They all have the same title. You should be able to find them very easily, and I also label things by week. The weeks match up with the assignments. So assignment 3 and homework 3 are in week 3, and so on and so forth. You can go back and find them very easily. For those classes that have additional instructors, under the People tab on the classroom, you will see that there are more teachers than just myself. Our administrators are on here, and then for concert band, the percussion instructors are also on here. Mr. Nate Stein and Miss Olivia Zanizer. Their contact info is available here. And then, of course, our color guard, who has their own classroom, but the color guard staff is also listed here if you are in need of that. For orchestras, you will only see my name and the administrator's name, as we do not have any specialist coaches for orchestra. All right, that concludes our back to school night. I sincerely hope that you are all well. Before we go, I would just like to draw your attention to one more thing. Obviously, this school year is quite different than the ones we have gone through in the past. It does require some patience and some adaptability. I'm doing my best to provide that to your students. But again, I'm always happy to get feedback from you. So if you have a suggestion or a concern, please feel free to bring them to my attention. As you may also be aware, this is going to be a difficult year for us as an instrumental program in the area of fundraising. We will be trying to do some digital fundraisers throughout this year. So I hope you will join us in supporting our students and the continuance of our program by engaging in those where you can. Our current fundraiser, which you all got an email about last week, is a Papa John's fundraiser. So go eat some pizza. Take that flyer that was sent to your email last week and give it to Papa John's when you order, and they will give us 20% back on whatever you buy, which is awesome. Pizza for you, free money for us. So join us. That fundraiser will be going on through the 1st of January. It's a good one. It's easy. So I hope that you will join me in supporting the program. Okay, thank you very much for tuning in. If you have any further questions, again, my email is ellen.king@osi.us. You can find it under the classwork tab where it says methods of communication. I check that all the time. I do take weekends off usually, so it may take me up to 48 hours to respond to you, but I'm pretty good about responding within 48 hours. If you really, really need to get a hold of me quickly, that remind class code will enable you to send contact to me through that app as well, which will go directly to my phone, so I will see it a little bit faster. All right, have a wonderful rest of your night, and thank you very much for coming to our back to school night. I will see you soon.